Who we missing?
I think we're all set.
Okay, let me turn my volume up a little bit. Okay, I'll try that. We'll call this meeting to order.
We turn it down.
Fred Line,
Here.
Newcastle. Yeah. Nichols,
Here.
Rodebeck,
Here.
Easler,
Here.
Judd,
Here.
Culpepper,
Here.
Newcastle.
Here.
There we go.
Well, good evening and welcome to this first council meeting with newly elected officials and past. And the first thing in order is public comment on your agenda tonight. Do we have anyone out there on the line for public comment?
Oops. I don't see anybody, Mike.
Okay, I didn't recognize anybody, but that doesn't mean I can see everybody. Okay, we'll move on in case somebody comes in. To number one on the list is approve the minutes of October 5th, 2020.
So moved. Make a
I
motion
have a
to
question.
that.
Can I had a question. On that second page, I could be wrong, and maybe I'm not reading it, but on the second page, it says items 3, 4, and 5 in the staff reports. And maybe I misunderstood, but I thought one of the conditions, it looks like we have the conditions written down there, but I'm not sure where 4 and 5 are. And I thought maybe one of the conditions were that he couldn't rent above him, and I didn't see that on there. But like I said, I could be.
What is she saying? You're kind of breaking up, Gail. What?
Okay.
I believe what she's saying is she does not see, if I understand her correctly, she does not see it in writing where there is no rental of the apartments above the Klotz buildings. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it says something about items 3, 4, and 5 in the staff report. And I wasn't sure where. I can see the conditions 1, 2, 3, but I don't know where 4, 5 are. And I don't know if I need to click on something or what.
Am I in the right meeting?
Do you follow where she's at or no?
It's on the second page of the minutes.
Oh, the minute. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm looking at the agenda. I'm like, I told you, I totally could not hear what she said.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Mike tried to tell me what you were saying, and I had no idea. So, okay, what now?
Page 3, item 1, conditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what did you want to know about the conditions?
Well, it says something about items 3, 4, and 5 in the staff report. Do you see where it says that?
Yes.
Okay. I thought one of the conditions was that he wasn't going to rent above him. And I didn't see it mentioned anywhere. So I thought maybe it was one of those and that maybe I just needed to click on a number or something. I wasn't sure where the staff report.
No, the staff report was provided at the meeting.
Okay.
And no, that was not in the staff report, and that was not one of the conditions.
Okay. So when it says items 3, 4, and 5, what are they referring to? I guess I got lost there a little bit.
I'd have to pull that staff report up to find out.
Okay.
I don't have that handy. They were on the staff report from last month
Okay.
that
So it
he
was-
provided you.
Okay, so I could be wrong. So it was not a condition that he can rent to a residential above him, correct?
Yeah, I mean, basically our zoning allows
Yeah.
that.
I know, but I thought there was talk of it.
They did.
I believe you're right as far as
They
conversation.
said they
that
weren't
was-
going to rent, but it wasn't one of the motion, that was not in the motion.
Okay.
Well, the concern is back when they were going to process the marijuana and they were going to have possibly propane or high pressure or something that could explode. That's why we didn't want to rent to anybody upstairs. But that's not going to happen, so I don't really think that's an issue anymore.
So, and that's correct the way that proceeded. So, so on that note, though, we need to continue to move on to approve the minutes. Them notes are noted that of stipulations, but that would be in the staff report, not in these minutes. So I don't know, someone made a motion or no?
I made the motion.
I made a motion.
I seconded it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor and it has been seconded. Is there any other discussion? No other discussion. We'll have roll call.
Broadline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion carried, except to approve the minutes. The treasurer's report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second to approve the treasurer's report. Is there any discussion? No discussion? Roll call. Please.
Broadline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion carried to approve the treasurer's report. Under items of business, number 3 is consideration of appointment of Brian Fredline to the city council.
I will make a motion to appoint Brian Fredline to Laingsburg City Council to fill the unexpired term of Mary Hetherington, expiring in November 2022.
I second Geisler.
We have a motion and a second by Newcastle, second by Geisler. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Broadline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Unenthusiastically, but yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion carried for the appointment of Brian Fredline to the city council. Item number 4 is elect the mayor pro tem. Anybody got any ideas for someone to take my place if I'm not available?
How about Brian? He was doing it before.
I was gonna ask, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Brian, is this something that you would like to continue to do for the next 2 years? Instead of just putting it on you again? Maybe.
I don't know if you can't hear or.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
How many years you been doing that, Brian?
Well, I think this is year number 6.
Well, you got the routine down.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
All right. Is there any other questions? As long as we're there, we got a motion and a second for Brian to be mayor pro tem. Is that what we got on the floor?
You should ask for any other nominations.
Well, that is true. Is there any other nominations? But
See, you're already doing the job.
well, based on our past meeting, it was in agreement with all council members that the next in line person would take over if they wanted to do that. And Brian, you are that person. So actually you fall in line. If you refuse, yeah, then we would have to go to the next one. But other than that, but Brian did express the the desire to me the day after elections. So, um,
I look forward to him doing that as well again. He does a good job.
All right, well, I'll thank my colleagues after the vote.
all right, Paul.
Well, Fredline,
Yes,
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes.
thank you.
Motion carried. Brian will continue to take the elect mayor pro tem position. Item number 5, rules of procedures for city council meetings. I know you have like 4 or 5 different packets in your packet of different conditions such as we're going over tonight. I suggest strongly, if you have not looked at them, to read them. And that's why Paul has put them together, is because we're under kind of a different situation, but the same, but it's coming from different places. So we have all kinds of different things here that we look at. Now, Paula, did you want to go over these, or is this just information for everybody to know?
All right, so the reason I put the rules on was because those are the rules as they exist for how we handle meetings. So do you want me to go through them, or did anybody have any questions? We have some new people. We haven't went over these in a while. And then the next item on the agenda is if we want to continue to be able to meet remotely, we have to establish rules for meeting remotely. And so I felt like it was a good time to go over the rules that we currently have so that everyone understood what they were. And these are actually out of the charter. It doesn't mean you can't add rules to how you want to handle meetings. And so now the legislation has changed the Open Meetings Act and allowed us to meet remotely through the end of the year. And then after that is the next question. So I really didn't have this on there for an action item unless someone had questions or wanted to make a change on this item.
So
Okay.
Paul, is this boilerplate or is there any real changes?
No, so on the item that is the rules of procedure for city council, that's right out of our charter.
Right.
Exactly what our charter says right now. And I mean, you could probably add to those, but you can't, I would assume you can't take away from those. Like you can't be less lenient or whatever, because those are actually our laws. The next item is boilerplate language, the next item on the agenda, that basically I have reappropriated out there from, lawyer land.
Right.
Yeah, that's from the state.
Yes. So the state did make a change to the Open Meetings Act, and that's the next item on the agenda. But the item that we're dealing with right now was just what our current miscellaneous powers and duties are and the procedure for handling meetings.
Does anyone have questions on that as far as you've reviewed through it and looked at different things, or that Paula might be able to answer, or anyone that has that answer? Okay. So we will move to item number 6, which is establish rules for remote meeting attendance.
So let me explain this to you. Basically, since they made the change in the Open Meetings Act, what it does is allow us to be able to meet remotely, but we have to establish rules. And one of the rules is that you have to state like the city and state you're in. So I think what the legislation is doing is they're trying to make this so that it's more of a permanent thing, but they don't want to see that people are meeting from Florida and, running business in Michigan. So they don't want to see that like 12 months out of the year, somebody's somewhere else. I think that's not the intent of the law. So that's probably why they're asking us to say, okay, I'm in, Lansing, Michigan right now, or wherever you are when we're meeting. And, staff doesn't have to mention that, but elected officials do.
Well, I'd introduce it at the start of the meeting.
Or board, or, so like when we take roll call, you could say where you're meeting from then. So that's what I put in here. Basically, we need an explanation of why we're meeting and then where we are. But it didn't seem to call for the roll call on everything like we were doing, but I did leave that in there. Because if someone is meeting remotely, I think we can't always tell if they're nodding their head or whatever. So I think that it's best to leave in there that it's a roll call. And
I'd
then
agree with that.
just information about posting and all, most of that is right out of the law itself. I took that right out of the Open Meetings Act change. And then I would assume this should apply to all of our boards. So I put in there that it did. That this way that covers all of our like planning commission and that kind of stuff. So they would be able to meet remotely as well. So after December 31st, in order to meet remotely, there has to be some sort of emergency. No longer can we meet with no reason. So you have to have a reason. And the reason has to either be that the state has said there's an emergency or a local official. So like the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, their rules saying that we, can only have 10 people in a room or whatever, that doesn't constitute the state of emergency. So we will have to determine ourselves what that is. Like if the mayor can call a state of emergency that because our council chambers is too small, that, and because of COVID and we may have to seek counsel on this. I have no idea.
And then
But I sat in.
we would have to do this dance every month to determine whether or not we wanted to meet remotely the next month.
Well, right now, what I would suggest is that you contact your legislators and ask them to clear this little mishap up that they put into law for us. So basically, right now, the law states that we can meet till December 31st with no reason. After that, there has to be a reason. And the reason, so someone could, meet from out of state, but the whole board cannot, be absent. You'd have to have a quorum in person at the very least, unless there's a state of emergency considered. And that would be called by the mayor or whomever. I guess I'd have to find that in here, what exactly that language was. Let's see.
So even if you had a place where you can meet and do your social distancing, so you can have in-person meeting.
So when Dan and I looked at our council chambers, I think with the current, what did we say? There's 30 chairs in there. So when we did the 20% rule or whatever, that meant 10 or 12 people. You had staff and you guys were at that number.
So what about I know we've done it before in the past, meeting and I don't know, at the fire hall, it's a little bigger, but
We could meet at the fire hall, but we would still have to limit. So we would have to figure out what the capacity was there and how many people we could allow in. And then, so what happens is, if we're only allowed 20 in there, number 21 has to go outside, and we would have just violated the law because we are not allowing them a way to attend the meeting. So we have to have a way to do it both ways. If we're either going to have to meet in person and be able to allow the public, or we have to be able to do what I would call like a mixed meeting where we can allow people to view us on YouTube like we've been doing and call in to comment, which means we could still have it here, but the public would have to attend virtually.
right.
So those are decisions that we have to make, and then we have to figure out how we're gonna accommodate that. If we're going to do that in this room, we need a camera in there.
I mean, there probably isn't no way of ahead of, like, if people planned on coming in for public comment, if they didn't want to be on Zoom or whatnot. What about, I mean, like, I don't know how that would work exactly, but like even the fire hall, pull the fire trucks out, we'll be out there with the fire trucks. I mean, that's a big enough area, but yeah, I mean, seating, having enough seats too. I don't know what you guys got
Well,
for seats, but
you can't play with the fire trucks. I
I
mean,
know.
I
Darn
think,
it.
I think the ratio has something to do with the number of seats too, right, Paula?
right, it's fixed seating.
Yes.
So that were them, if I understand it right, there is no fixed seating out there.
We
So
have
we
3
would- on
schools.
there, we would have to take the square footage, and then there's a formula for the square footage.
Right.
But
Okay.
my issue is that if we start meeting in person, that I do think we still are going to have to offer the option of virtual for the public, because if someone is immune compromised and can't attend, we have
Right.
just denied them their right to attend our meeting
Right.
because they could get sick. And so I feel like you do all probably want to reach out to your legislators and hope that they can get this fixed before December 31st. But in the event that they can't, you guys need to tell me how you want to conduct business after December 31st.
I think I'd like to continue with the Zoom meetings, right on through.
Well,
So
I'm gonna join right in on that. After my last 14 days, I don't want to go anywhere and have a meeting.
I would prefer Zoom. We have, autoimmune disease here, so I would prefer to be away from a group.
So Paula, in the resolution, I see a start date and not an end date. We would, if conditions change, we would be able to have an end date. But this just allows us to continue what we've been doing, correct?
Right, so the reason there's no end date in here is because the Open Meetings Act does not have an end date either. So the Open Meetings Act allows us to meet for the next year after December 1st, after January 1st, all of 2021. If there's a reason, like if there is a health, if there's some reason that we can call it, and we have to find out. I mean, I don't really know who you would want me to contact, but I need to have some sort of legal opinion on whether the mayor can just say, look, we're considering this, a health concern, and to protect our citizens, we're going to call it an emergency, and we're going to meet this way, until the end of 2021.
well, I don't think this COVID going away anytime soon. So I think we have a reason.
Yes.
But I was on a Zoom meeting with
definitely, but-
MML today, and it appeared that there is a hole in this, which of course there is, I mean, everybody's trying to do what they can on the fly, but I can't imagine that they're not going to extend that.
Paula,
But
The plus side about it, I had some kind of news feed today. I didn't get a chance to read it because I've been busy at work. But Pfizer, they determined that they definitely have a something for this virus. So I mean, unless something.
They have a vaccine that's 90% effective.
So I mean, we'll see what happens with that too. So
I'd like to make a motion to adopt
But
this resolution.
I think the law is that you made a motion, Brian?
To
Yes.
adopt the resolution.
Okay.
Support.
We have a motion and support. The only question I had is, when they say for your reason, excuse, whatever, they don't give any examples or guidelines on that at all, Paula?
Well, no, so I think if, knowing that you all want to continue that direction, I can reach out, try and figure out what those are. And like I said, I do expect that we're gonna have some more legislation come down the pipe. But,
Yes.
if you guys have someone you would like to contact and let them know that the city of Laingsburg, would like to continue meeting remotely and that they should make some legislative changes to continue that would probably be helpful.
Will do.
And probably on the MML website, there might even be an email or sample, way to contact them. So,
Okay, well, we have that motion and second. So I guess we're to a roll call to adopt the resolution.
roll call sheet in this mess. I might have lost my roll call sheet and all this paperwork. Okay,
Yeah, I understand that.
Fredline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rodebeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion carried for the resolution. Item number 7, COVID-19 policy and procedures. And that is another packet you have.
Very
You know,
large.
I don't know unless you guys say, if you read through that and you saw what we're doing and you have some suggestions or changes, I don't know that I need action there. We took that action administratively. I wanted you guys to know what we are doing here. We do have staff checking in, checking their temperatures. They're getting asked the common questions. We have a sign-in sheet here. We've trained everybody. We've given them the videos. We've created the manual. We've had them read it, and we feel like we're completely in compliance with MIOSHA.
Good.
So, I mean, I gave you the MIOSHA rules so that you guys could see what we're supposed to be doing. Any employer is supposed to be doing that. And so that was taken care of with the chief and the DPW supervisor. And so the three of us have taken care of that here in our office. So,
Okay, so it's nothing we have to adopt. It's just something that we have to verify that we're doing.
right, I wanted, I mean, we did, we took care of it here. If you guys want to confirm that you feel like we've done the right thing, that's fine. But I mean, basically the law says we have to do this, but I don't see anywhere it says that the city council has to, but you guys
Adopt it.
probably should approve our COVID policy and procedures.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Yeah,
I second.
this agreement is between the city of Laingsburg and an employee of Laingsburg that they are conforming, correct?
Correct.
All right, well,
I have one question. Paul, under remote, on page 17, that last sentence, I'm assuming that you're encouraging your employees, if they can, work from home, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know. The wording of that, I wasn't quite sure. That last sentence.
Who was the second on that?
I was the second.
Okay.
It's not a big deal, but I just noticed it. I thought that's what you were saying.
I mean, I think I took that language right out of somewhere.
Okay.
I gotta find it now. I don't know.
So that probably come from the health department themselves, correct?
Well, it says if work can be completed from the city, is encouraging working from home. That's what it says.
Well, basically, the MDOT rule says that, all employees will be expected to remote work as directed by their supervisor. If they are self-isolating at home and are not feeling ill. I might have to change that. I had people proof this. If you work, if work can be completed from the city. Oh, I see what I'm saying. I'm missing a word there.
Yeah, if you would have just put home.
From home, the city's encouraging working from home.
That's all I was trying to say.
Yep.
Okay,
I can fix the typo.
thank you.
So basically, Paula, it boils down to one thing: is we're basically stepping back to where we was at in a sense as far as inside mask sign-in, but have added the sign-in and tracking so that we know where people are at.
That's required by MIOSHA that
Right.
Places have sign-ins and that their employees are being, checked before they start their shift and that they're provided with proper equipment.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on the floor for that? To adopt the COVID policies and procedures, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
so beyond discussion, if there's no more, we'll take roll call.
Redline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion carried. Item number 8 is resolution to adopt the annual health insurance exemption.
So moved.
I support.
Second.
Second.
We got seconds all over the place.
I tried to give you guys a little information as to what that was, probably for Dina and Gail, but we've been doing this for basically, we only have a few employees that take the insurance and, we have a real hard time trying to meet that number that the state sets that you can't exceed that. And so we consider it part of our benefit as a city to be able to provide that insurance without charging the employee. So we exclude ourselves from that number, basically.
All right, I think we're ready for roll call.
Redline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion carried. Resolution to adopt the annual health insurance exemption. Item number 9 is consideration of rifle purchase for police department.
Yeah, for the council, as you know, we have 2 patrol cars. For my patrol car, I have my own patrol rifle. The department is supposed to provide a patrol rifle. The rifle that we have currently, we used at firearms in May and it broke. It was fixed. We had a firearms again here in October. And once again, it broke during firearms. So it is an older rifle. So I think it's to the point where we don't want to have a malfunction when we need the rifle. So looking at purchasing a new one. New rifle is approximately $900. The patrol rifle that is the older model, we probably will get a few hundred back if we sell that back to the company. But I'm looking for approval so that we can purchase that new patrol rifle that should be used for the officer safety.
I'll make the motion so we can go ahead and discuss it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, open for discussion. What's your timeline to get one, chief?
Well, we'd have to put our order in and it can be anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. Since we are a law enforcement agency, we do get put to the head of the line. But they're backed up a little bit, as you know, based on the election year.
Okay,
What
Hopefully it won't be-
caliber, what
hopefully it
caliber are
won't be
you
three-
looking at?
It'd be the same caliber that we're using, which is a .223 patrol rifle. It's an AR-15.
So is that a load that doesn't travel a long distance? If it hits something, it stops, or is
Well,
it something
based
that's
on
going
the-
to ricochet?
Ammunition that we use, those are the patrol rifles, so we want to be sure that we can use it within 100 to 150 yards if need be. So as part of the training, you have to know what your backstop is. So it's the same. It's going to be the same caliber weapon that we have now that's in the patrol cars.
Okay. Same caliber, same style. The officers have been trained on it. It's just this thing doesn't work.
All right.
Yes, it
Just
keeps
updating.
breaking.
Okay. So we're not moving to a different platform, which is going to require additional training. You know, added expense in ammo, it's just the same thing, one that works.
That's correct. I do have money in the budget for it.
And hopefully it don't take 3 or 4 months or better, because that's what I was told.
Motion to approve.
I second.
Second.
I guess
We have-
Paula said we had a motion and a second.
Yeah,
We do.
That's so we could discuss it. So, yeah.
So we're in the discussion mode, and if there is no more, we shall vote.
Redline,
Yes.
Duke-Castle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Order your rifle, chief. Motion is carried.
All right, thank you.
Item number 10 is the approval of November bills and payroll.
Motion to pay.
Make a motion.
Okay, two of you made a motion at the same time. I heard Alan, but I'm not sure who the other one was.
Support.
Okay, motion and support by Alan and Brian. Discussion. Roll call.
Redline,
Yes.
Duke-Castle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion carried to approve the bills. Committee reports. Let's see. One thing I will make note, you all do have a copy of or I am assuming you do, the agreement with the library so that you all know kind of where we're at. And I think Gail is probably taking that to them again. So let's start with the library, seeing as I brought that up.
So there is a lease agreement in there, and the president was not there at the meeting. And it was kind of like at the last minute that she couldn't come. So we decided to table it. Everyone's supposed to look it over, have any things that they feel like, you know, it was kind of like, this is made like Brian said, it's kind of like verbiage that someone has gotten. It's not specifically made yet for Laingsburg. And so I asked the members to go through and discuss if there was anything that needed to be added or if anything didn't seem to fit the situation that we have going. So they're supposed to come back next meeting, and that's supposed to be the topic for, you know, the meeting to go over it so that we do have some kind of agreement. So the other thing that we discussed was in case of an emergency, because there's not as many workers over there, Sandra was concerned what might happen if she had an emergency. So we did talk about that a little bit, that she would put a note on the door and she would notify one of us, and that we would, you know, basically, I doubt it'll ever happen, but I think she was concerned about it because we're kind of not as many people over there with her anymore. So that was another thing that we discussed. And then we discussed the purchase of, or possible purchase of, the Sing building next door. So, I mean, I'm assuming that people kind of read the minutes, but I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I feel like if it works out, I mean, they have some money sitting there that they really couldn't build a building with what's sitting there. So this might be an opportunity that helps this, you know, the library board and really the city. And I think they're open to the idea. I think they wanted to try to go through the building and kind of see what kind of shape it was in. But my understanding is we're kind of at the hold stage right now. Is that correct, Paula? We don't know anything more.
What's that?
I said we don't really know anything more at this point about that.
I did have a conversation with Mr. Singh, and I tried to pin him down to let us come look at the building, and he said Friday afternoon, but it's all I have. So
Okay,
the 13th in the afternoon.
okay.
So as I find out more, I'll let you know, but
Okay.
he
Alright.
said
Sounds
that-
like everybody's on call.
he said there was a new roof put on 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
But I just kept reiterating that I really thought we needed to get inside there and take a look.
Yeah,
Because he kept telling me what great shape the building was in, and I kind of feel like we all need to look at it so that we can tell him, or whoever wants to tell him, you know, whether it's in great shape or not to us, they should probably do that right there when we're looking at it, because maybe it would be easier.
Right.
so I guess my perspective of the feel from the library board is it definitely is something that they want to investigate, and they want to know how they would move forward if after seeing it is something that's, you know, doable for them, I guess, was my feeling.
So is it their intention to move into the other building or join it together with the city's building?
Join it together.
Are we gonna have a professional inspector come in and look at the foundation and the wiring, the plumbing, the, you know, construction, and make sure that it's feasible to even buy the building?
I think that's something that I think first walk through it, and then I don't know, I don't want to speak for their feelings, but it seems like we would want professionals giving us some kind of guidance, because
I would suggest yeah, definitely.
I'm not. And I mean, I bought some buildings, I'll say, and you know, it's always one of those things you think it's one way, and then you know, there's other things, and you know, it's an older building, so you know
Oh,
that.
you have an owner that's hesitant about letting people in.
Yeah, I think Paula has a good relationship with them. I've actually dealt with them some because I used to rent next to them. That doesn't surprise me, I guess, that he's kind of.
I don't think that he was hesitant at all. I just think that, you know, he has a sick wife. He's an old person. He wants to clean out the building a little bit. He wants to spiff it up for us. But I tried to tell him that we just want to see it just the way it is. And I think he wants to do some things, but I think we should look at it. I mean, that's just my opinion, before he does anything else, because why have him do something if you guys get in there and go, oh, no, 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 you know? Or
Right.
get in there
My
and
suggestion would be to see if Friday works for him, if he does show up or make an appointment and it develops, because at this point, until you can get in, there's not a whole lot you can do other than the fact that maybe have somebody that's professional that can walk in and give you their opinion at last minute, because that's kind of what Friday is at this point. It's last minute.
Well,
You know.
also, I mean, am I supposed to notify the board? And I mean, are they going to be available? I don't know. I mean, that's a concern, I guess.
Well, there's going to be a situation where everyone's ever going to be
No.
present. So
Yeah.
I would just say that on that we need to continue like you're doing, working with the agreement and also the building discussion about it, and see what happens if Friday happens, and then start working on that from there about questions, because we could spend a long time trying to figure it out, but we don't have the first answer yet.
But is it your opinion that we get in and look at it and then have specialists come in there? Or do you think we should be lining someone up to go in on Friday with us that have more?
no, I think that you just want to go have a casual conversation with Mr. Singh and take a look at it.
Right.
And maybe take the DPW or Dan with you and just go. I mean, let's just keep this on the down low until you guys take a look at it. And then you should take that back to the library board and say, here's what I saw. Here's what I think. I mean, because I don't want to tell you what I think it looks like in there, you know, and I don't want to guess. I think I want to see somebody just standing in there going, okay, here's what we see, you know? So I think that we should probably just if this happens on Friday afternoon. If not, then I guess we could try to work it out, but trying to make, all the library board members and Mr. Singh get in there at the same time is probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, I just don't want the total responsibility and no other library people come, I guess, either.
You can invite other people, Gail. I'm just saying it's gonna have to be somebody who's flexible because I really can't tell you anything
Yeah,
else.
I know. I
I
understand.
mean,
Or
I'm
my
sure-
other option is to just hand you guys his phone number and you guys deal with it.
No, I feel like you have a relationship with him, and I think that we should try to use that, I guess. I think he feels comfortable with you. So, I mean,
So
I just,
I would say Friday is a baby step. Let's just go in, take a look, come back, report. We are a long way from acquiring this property, even if it is in good enough shape. But we need to make that first step, and I appreciate the library board for being open to that.
they were a little hesitant. I'm not gonna lie. When I first started saying something for a minute, I felt a little bit, but I mean, I think it's an opportunity that could be something worth investigating for sure. I wanted to ask though, Paula, you said that he said that they redid their roof a few months ago. Is that true? I guess I didn't pay attention.
No, he said, I wrote it down. He said 4 or 5 months ago, he redid the roof.
Okay.
And, so I think that we need to see what we got going on there.
Yeah, define redid.
Right. So that's
We can
why
check with the county and see if there was a
I
permit. for
don't
them.
want to, sometimes, everybody has you might look at something and I think it's nice and you think it's ugly. So, you know what I mean? It's like, I think a couple people need to get in there and then have a little powwow.
well, and take pictures as well. I mean, if you can swing that, I'd take some pictures of stuff too. If there's anything in question, if you get in there, take some pictures, because then even if someone couldn't show up or whoever, you got some pictures maybe to go off from, maybe, you know what I mean, too.
And just as a note of caution, please, proper PPE before entering that premises.
Absolutely.
Good call, Brian.
All right, with that, we'll move to the next report. Let's go with, I don't have any specific order. How about DPW?
Don't have anything.
Okay,
If you look around the city though, there's been some sidewalks that have been taken up and replaced. I think the guys are doing a great job at it. The leaf vac did break down. I don't know if Dave can give us a report on whether it's back up and running yet, but apparently a electronic fuel pump or something went bad on it.
That's a bummer deal.
Dave, are you out there?
I don't see him hooked up, but
I figured it out. Yeah, as of right now, I talked to them earlier today. They was just getting ready to pull it up to the garage to look at it. But it acts like an electronic fuel solenoid shut off. The relay there's been tripped and we don't know why, and neither do they. So hopefully they got a chance to look at it later this afternoon. I'll know more tomorrow morning.
yeah, tell him they can't find the mayor. He's covered in leaves everywhere he goes.
Well,
Everybody's got him piled up so high that it's almost 5-6 foot tall.
we're gonna start tomorrow with the tractors, but hopefully they get it done.
Yeah, hopefully they get it done. So that's the key. So
Might I entertain a remedy for that? I've been talking about this for 5 years. Just how about a match? You guys know,
Believe me, I could have thrown a whole book out today.
you know how I feel about that, but you know what? I think it's terrific and it is a definite benefit to this town to have that leaf sucker up and running, especially at this crucial time. So let's do what we have to do.
Well, we were going to look into also and find out if it's a part that routinely, breaks down. If it is, maybe have 1 or 2 sitting on a shelf so that we're not in this position again.
Good thought.
Well, it is under warranty, so that's a plus.
yep,
Yeah.
that's
Other
one
than
of the
that,
reasons
that's what I
why.
said.
Other than that, we don't have anything from DPW. So
Okay, well, thank you. What about police committee? I see we got a report. We got a rifle taken care of. What else we got? No one on the police is still with us, so. All right. What have I missed? Finance?
We're good.
Okay.
Nice.
DPW, library board.
Dan was talking, I had him muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all right. Paula muted me.
Yeah.
That's why you had 3 reports in your packet. That was due because I was off from for knee surgery. I didn't know if anybody had any questions in regards to those reports. I did hire a new officer, but that's kind of contingent because right now he's in the running for police chief up at Mackinac Island. So I don't know more if he's going to be employed with us or not.
I wouldn't blame him if he wasn't though, because that's nice, very pretty up there.
Yeah, until you're stuck on the island because of the winter.
Yeah. The ice
Better
don't
be
freeze
good
you
on a
up.
bike.
Well, I will say it was an unexpected pleasure at Halloween. Everything was safe and we had hundreds of kids. So just to break them out for a moment safely and get back to real life, I thought was unique.
Well, I still got too much candy left over. They didn't come enough.
Yeah.
Well, I did better than you guys did. I ate all mine before they came.
Yeah,
So,
but once again, and you know, an uneventful Halloween in terms of our police department, and we appreciate that.
yes, sir, we do.
All right, thanks.
Now, have I missed anything this evening other than Paula, possibly?
The DDA.
The DDA, okay. You want to report on that, Gail?
No. I just,
Oh.
I was there, but I didn't want to report on it. That's yours, right?
It's whomever's, but yeah, I'm just trying to think what we did discuss.
The fit assessment.
Oh, yes, we did go go through the fit assessment again. Thank you. And it's something that we need to do to update and keep everything moving. Discussed our sign at the park, things like that. Seem to be in pretty good standing as far as we're moving forward with everything. So that was pretty much it right there as far as the coverage and stuff. It was a good refresher course and also acknowledgement of getting fresh again with what everything's covered under our fit reports. Of course, Paula, you can tell us about the amphitheater. It looks like that baby is just about ready for the grass to grow and somebody stand out there and sing.
Yeah, it looks really good, actually. I've been having to kick the skateboarders off it, but other than that, we're still trying to get our camera system set up. And I want a microphone on there so when I look and I see them, I can yell at them from the sky.
Yeah. I'm talking to
I
you.
mean, I guess, you know, if you look at it from here or over on High Street, it looks small, but I also feel like it just kind of blends right into the background. But when you walk over there, it's amazing. It really is. It's really nice. They cut the seating in last week, and the stage and the cement is poured. There's a nice wall there. They put in some trees and some landscaping.
How's the
I know the
acoustics?
electrician hasn't showed up yet, but it's painted, and I don't know if they got the asphalt down. Did anybody see the asphalt truck come by? So that's the only thing I don't know. I didn't get over there today to check, but the last week has kind of been a blur since the election. So.
I think I drove in there yesterday, but I don't think the path was done
It
then.
didn't
So
look like it today. So I think that's about what they have left in the Woodhull contract is to get the path poured. And then I know the electrician has to show up. And then after that, I guess we have to start figuring out, who's going to manage this thing, who's going to run it, how's that going to work, who's scheduling events, or are we going to keep a calendar? Are we going to have weddings? I mean, I don't even know. The possibilities there are, there's probably a lot of things that people want to do there. So we definitely don't want it to sit empty. And so we are probably also going to have to spend a little bit of money to get the lighting and the sound and all that kind of thing right. But from what Jack Clarkson told me was that, everybody pretty much brings their own sound system. I know we had kind of talked about trying to see if we could get the controls for ours moved over there so we could actually play our music in the streets, because we have that sound system for downtown that isn't being used. We kind of talked about trying to find a way to be able to operate that maybe out of there. So I don't know if that's going to fall on the Parks and Rec Committee or what you guys want to do, but probably something we need to be thinking about.
I know I've worked with some of the bands over there, and the band people like to have their own equipment. It's very important to them. That's part of their quality, I feel like. And not that our quality isn't good, but they seem to be some people like different things. And so I think they are accustomed to bringing their own, equipment with them. That's just kind of the norm as far as music. But I mean, there's going to be other things going on there besides music, I would assume.
But I think those things aren't going to happen by themselves. I think we're going to have to reach out and start trying to, get that. And honestly, I think I have enough on my plate that I really don't have time to add that.
Oh, come on.
Well, we can discuss it in Parks and Rec and see, what a recommendation might be.
Obviously, I've been doing the music in the park and with Jack for years here. And so I'd like to kind of be involved, I guess.
I think it's going to be more than just that.
I know it is.
I don't think it's going to be just one night a week. I mean, I think that this is going to be a pretty big job to keep up with, and we need to make sure that, we get it set up properly, whether we provide the actual lighting or the sounds. We need to provide the infrastructure that allows them to hook up what they need to, like that
Right.
cage that Jack had talked about. And so I think we need to get a committee of people together that, are necessarily music people, but we need music. We need, the
Theater.
Entertainment committee.
Yeah. So we need an entertainment committee.
Yeah, and I would also like to say that as far as Gail, like wanting to be involved with what she's got going on, I think the committee could be set up it might make it a little less responsible or heavy responsible. If let's just say, and I have no answers, but let's say Gail takes care of the music in the park during the summer and somebody else does the entertainment from somewhere else and things like that, unless it all rolls together. That way one person isn't completely tied up.
Right, but I think that you also can't have them working against each other. So
No.
That's what I'm saying, is that you need somebody in charge.
Right. They have to be a team.
Yeah, you also need somebody who's, going to keep up with it. I mean, I've seen a lot of things come and go in here that if there wasn't somebody pushing it, that it stops.
Right. I agree with that.
Can I ask a question? Because
No.
I'm not. No? Okay. How do we, is it something we just do? How do we just start a new committee for something like that? Is it something that we can just
have a
do?
committee already in place that'll handle it. Maybe, in here we could do it, but I still need somebody. I feel like I'm going to need somebody to help with that, whether it's an employee, whether it's a city council person,
Right.
There's things going on around here that, those things are going to also affect the DPW, the police. So I just think it's something I want you guys to kind of get on your radar and start thinking about. And I will tell you that I offered up the first act opening night to Jack. So hopefully that's okay. He seemed pretty excited about it. So I said, did you want to be the opening act, for our grand opening? And he said he would love that. So
Well, and as well, we talked about it before, quite a while back, but so movies in the park, are we still gonna think about maybe having a movie screen down too? Something that, you know, they can do the movie in the park there too as well?
Yeah, we're planning on doing the movies there.
Be
I mean,
awesome.
so there's a lot of possibilities for a lot of stuff.
So I know Jack's talked to Paula and Jack's talked to me, and I know we need to do more than just Wednesday nights, or, you know, there's other, I was just saying I'd like to be involved with the committee, I guess, if I could. That was all I was really trying to, I mean, I don't know what date you're thinking of it opening, but normally these bands that I'm booking, I have to book them almost a year ahead. So if it's a good band, and if we move, what Jack would like to do is some of Friday night stuff, and so that they're even harder to get on Friday night. So do you have any time frame that you're thinking, I guess, or that it'll be ready?
I think it'll be ready next week.
Okay, well, yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. I think we're looking at next spring before we're actually gonna do anything, but of
Okay.
course, bands for next summer, then that's fine, as long as, like I said, we don't know, you know, hopefully we're gonna be allowed to have bands out there next summer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know, and Jack told me he'd be more than willing and happy to help us, you know, get this kicked off. But I do think that we should plan a grand opening of the
I
amphitheater
agree.
and have
Yeah.
a big event. We could, I don't know, maybe a grand opening week or something. We do a movie, we do a music, you know, I don't know, but I don't want that on my shoulders. I'm glad to help with it, but I would really like some input on getting this thing up and running and how we're gonna manage it. So
I'd be a part of that committee too. But yeah, figure it out.
well,
I think Jack's a wonderful choice for the community. The community really enjoys.
you know, he still wants to do the golf course and Twilligers, and I told him that I think that's great. I mean, that we have to support each other, you know, and people come into Laingsburg to golf, but they also have to come downtown to eat. So, you know, we got to make sure that we support that golf course as much as we support our restaurants. So
I think this is more complicated tonight than it will be in a couple months from now. I think we will have plenty of community input in how we use the amphitheater.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe announce a grand opening with a band. And once, you know, once the realization is out there and the awareness is out there, I really think, you know, the promotion will be second to the scheduling.
Yes.
And no, Paula, we will not put this on you, okay? I hear
I'm
you.
glad to help.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm glad to help. I just think that, you know, it really is going to need more attention than I can give it, you know.
Yeah, so for those that are new on council, that is code Paula speak for who's going to shut the street down, who's going to be the cops on duty, who is going to maintain the crowd, who is going to open and shut the bathrooms. We get all that, Paula, and we appreciate you for even worrying about that.
So, well, it's quite an endeavor, and you know, people have all kinds of ideas. I mean, I've heard people say that you can even get a lot of big numbered bands if they're traveling in between, let's say, Mount Pleasant and Detroit, going to the casinos for music and stuff, because they look for those kind of opportunities. But I don't know nothing about it, but somebody will find out a lot of stuff in the next 2 or 3 months. So
I did investigate that with Jack.
did you?
We did.
What did you find out?
Well, there are certain, I think this COVID thing is going to be the deciding factor of how some of this works out, but
Right.
there's bookings and stuff, but we looked at it last year, and there is a chance of someone having a stopover. Going to Soaring Eagle, he was kind of, I mean, he had a different idea where we might be able to pull somebody, but it is something I called up to the Soaring Eagle, got the schedule, you know, as far out as they had it at the time. This was before COVID though.
Well,
So,
the activity advisor, and this has been probably changed, but 5, 6 years ago, person lived right here on the outskirts of Laingsburg for the casino up there. They did all the music, all the prizes, all that kind of stuff that they do. But I was just told that there's some possibilities like that. And hey, if we can get 1 or 2 through the summer, even 1, it'd be a big draw. So, I mean, whatever it may be. So
we
I think
also,
it'll be a wonderful thing.
we also investigated for the LBCA a magician that was very, very well respected that was out of the Detroit area last year. But, all that kind of went to the wayside because we couldn't.
And a lot of it will be for COVID too. So is there anything else we need to address? If not,
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I have one thing, sorry.
okay.
I did have a meeting today with the greater recyclers and the school. I don't know if y'all are aware or not, but we did get a $50,000 grant for the recycling center.
Awesome.
However, we asked for 90. So
Right.
I mean, it's great and it's nice, but sometimes we got to remember when we only give people half of what they asked for, they can't build what they needed to build. So we either are going to need some more fundraising, but there are some, there's some things we still need to work out. So I will probably be bringing you an agreement that kind of puts us together in that group and helps us move forward a little bit at some point. But we'll probably have a couple representatives from the city, somebody from the, a couple from the school, and a couple from the greater Laingsburg recyclers. So not really sure where all this is going to end up yet, but we did get 50 grand. So.
But they're still talking about the original site, correct?
Yep, we're still talking about building it at the high school. We'll be the fiduciary. I mean, the grant is actually in our name. So I did notice the girl from Eagle wince a little bit today when she said the school was, when Terry Link told her the school would own the building. So there's probably going to have to be some kind of stuff in the agreement. But I think we still have a lot to work out. Let's just say that.
Got half the money. We're just getting started.
Yep. So if this works out, it will be awesome. But if it doesn't, then we failed, I guess.
Or figure something else out,
Yep. So
We'll figure something else out if we have to.
Yep, agreed.
that's all.
Then I heard a motion for adjournment.
I second.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Bye.